We've all heard about this one quite often. However, a lot of us are still having quite a hard time to comprehend why such seemingly hostile and relentless motives allow those who practice them to dramatically increase the chances and probability of getting what they want out of life. The answer is what you saw on the thumbnail: priorities. The word selfish is always stereotypically labeled as an antagonistic term that relishes and thrives purely within the ego of an individual, while at the same time disregarding the consent and well-being of others. While it's not necessarily wrong, you also have to look at selfishness at the context of the individual who practice and demonstrate it. Some people are selfish for the sake of taking advantage of others, but that's not what this video is all about. A lot of the times, people negatively and condemningly judge the selfishness of others when they don't get what they want out of those people that they judge themselves. They don't like how he behaves, so they want him to change, so they will feel validated. They don't like his attitude, so they want him to change, so they will feel validated. They don't like his activities, so they want him to change, so they will feel validated. They don't like what he stands for, so they want him to change, so they will feel validated. So on and so forth. Now, does that make those who judge and criticize a man's selfishness selfish themselves? You don't have to be fiercely educated to know and realize that. All of us are selfish in our own way. All of us have different agendas, motives, ethics, and morals. This is why we can't please everyone, and why not everyone will be fond of you. The major difference is that those who are practically selfish gets what they want, and those who are morally selfish remains pathetically embittered because their ideas and ideals are not validated. Because practically selfish people just don't give a fuck. Trying to accomplish your goals while also trying to soothe other people's brows is the definition of utter foolishness. Because other people are not trying to accomplish the same goals as you. So how can you expect them to fully understand you? They don't think like you do, they don't commit to the same endeavors as you do, and most importantly, they don't look at life the same way that you do. So why even bother trying to convince them? Their lives are not your responsibility, the same way that your life is not their responsibility. They might have some say for it, but they don't get to decide how it goes. But you do. Just like you, other people also need validation. That is why they criticize your motives and try to convince you that their way of life is better or superior. Hypocritically, they are also selfish, but because they are criticizing you, the attention is not on them, and that is why they innately lower their own guard down and reveal their own moral selfishness. But the main difference is that those men who get what they want realizes that the only validation that matters is his own confidence and assurance within both the process and outcome of his priorities. Selfish men vividly know what they want, and they don't let others decide what they should want. If you want something out of life, most of the time out of the sheer necessity for survival, the only logical and rational decision is to allocate a significantly profound amount of time, attention, effort, and resources onto the plan of action that will get you closer to those objectives. And of course, through that attitude, you will inevitably offend and displease a lot of people who want your time, attention, effort, and resources that they themselves can't get. That form of conflict is entirely unavoidable if you are someone who is goal-oriented. There is absolutely no need to feel guilty of not being able to please people, even the ones that are close to you. In fact, the reason why most people are still going nowhere is, most of the time, directly associated with that fear of offending them. They desperately try to find a perfect balance between keeping themselves fulfilled and others happy, which will completely slow down or even sabotage their motives. Why? Because they contemplate too much and waste so much time and energy in trying to satiate both sides. Selfish men simply do what they want to do to achieve what they want to achieve. They win by ruthless and purposeful imposition to generate appealing and worthwhile manifestation. Others' perception and attitude towards how they live is none of their concern because people will react how they want to react. You have absolutely no control over it, and they all react differently. The last thing you want to do is waste your precious commodities trying to endlessly convince each and every single one of them that you've made the right choice for yourself. Because they just don't see what you see, and most of the time they can't even see what you see, even if they try to. And speaking of it, that is an even worse scenario, trying to expect them to see exactly the way you see how your life will play out. Your expectations will not only disappoint you, but will rob you of your momentous morale. It's not perfect, but again, name one thing that is. It might be insulting, offensive, and controversial from others' point of view, but why should you care when it certainly is gratifying, fulfilling, and actualizing from your end? And let's be honest, your own point of view about how your life is going is what truly matters the most. If you try to understand others from their point of view as well, you'll be able to better comprehend why they do what they do and why they are how they are. People only criticize the decisions we've made, but almost all of them don't get to experience the choices we have and the desires that we are willing to grit for. And that is why, no matter how much you try to convince them, they will never fully understand life from your point of view. So fuck them, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for watching.